every single one of these guys are bears. Every single one of them. Even this guy, Garrett. Liar, you're a liar. You do not deserve this, woman. Before I get into Garrett, because I have yet to go into Garrett, if there's one takeaway from this season, this entire show, or just pretty much what everything men say regularly on shows, online, is that they lie. They lie all the time. I can't stand any of these dudes, but even Garrett, I was gonna avoid a deep dive on you despite the lying about texting your ex. No, I was gonna not let that go, not give you a whole video, but now you're getting your video because the reunion. Now I know you're full of crap. For starters, that big dream of moving to San Diego, that pretty much the entire relationship hinged on Garrett's willingness to move to San Diego for her, which I remember thinking, really? Is he really going to do that? Because so few men are willing to do that. And it turns out he is not. They are living in Fredericksburg. Let me show you what they said last night. Actually, before I do that, the other thing that made me realize you are full of crap, dude, is that in a moment when all of the women are defending Hannah because the internet and all the pick-me's on the internet, and I know a lot of people who follow me really hate her, and I need you to question why that is. You know what? I got to make a whole separate, because I'm even more convinced than ever that Nick is trash, okay? And all these women were trying to defend Hannah because this dude is just a liar, and he has this whole image of being a golden retriever. And guess what? As they were having a very important, much-needed conversation, Garrett here chimes in. I personally feel like this conversation is extremely immature. Oh, do you, Garrett? Do you? Effectively trying to shut down everyone having this conversation. And I love the way Monica responds. I mean, I like the women on this show all the more, and I can't stand the men even more. I'm just counting the seconds till we move past this, to be honest. That seems like a worried look from Taylor. Uh-oh, you are not the man I thought you were. I'm sure she actually wasn't really thinking that, but how embarrassing to be her right now. Because what he is showing is that even though he is the one who looked like such a great guy compared to who? Steven! In the end, of all the people on the stage to try to shut all the women up, it's your husband. I would be so embarrassed. I would be so embarrassed if my husband did this and effectively try to gaslight and talk so condescending to all the women who were, like, oh my God, this made me really, really not like you. Because the audacity to stop this important conversation because you are uncomfortable. And this is very Southern. A Southern white family is all about this. No hard conversations. No hard conversation. I mean, his mom terrifies me. But I'll get to her later. Just because you're a little uncomfortable, Garrett, doesn't mean that the adults in the room should stop talking because you're uncomfortable. Shut up. King baby energy. But then, and I love that Monica was like, well, these are things that we do have to talk about. Garrett, like, it's uncomfortable, but we have to talk about them. So shut up, bro. Because Hannah is getting killed on the internet. And she is. Oh, y'all should see how much people hate her even more. And all the pick-me's on Nick's little Instagram who are just like, oh my God, they hate Hannah. They're going on her Instagram and his. This was a moment that these women were trying to take the heat off of Hannah and expose Nick for the lying, king baby, gold digging, hobosexual trash that he is. And Garrett was like, no, I'm uncomfortable. Shut up, Garrett. And they're actually, do you know how many women are talking crap about Marissa because of her affiliation with Hannah? They don't respect her because how dare she speak up and defend Hannah. I'm going to do a whole nother video on just how, you can tell how much patriarchy you've unpacked by how much you hate Hannah. I don't care about Hannah. I don't know her. I'm not even saying I like her. But we could all learn a lot from Hannah. And if you really hate Hannah, Well, I'm going to show you maybe why, but that's another video. But Garrett, fork you for ruining this moment, you big king baby. So then Vanessa asked this question. So where are you today on the transition thing as a married couple? Because I remember it being pretty important. I'm going to show you just how many times this man lied about wanting to move to San Diego for her. But anyway, so I'm glad she asked this question. One of the big things was where you guys were going to live. And you talked about San Diego a lot. Well, right now we're living in Fredericksburg. Oh, shocker. That's exactly what he wanted, was to move her out to this town. I mean, whatever, it's a suburb, but it's still not the city. And let me tell you something. If you are a city person and you move to a town and like however long away it is, from a city to a small town, I mean, it's not a small town, but it's a small city. Like what, 26,000 or something? This is not super close. It's not like moving to another country for a man. But do you know how much harder it is to go out and see your girlfriends and your community? When you had your best friend living like right above you in your old apartment, and now you live down here next to his mommy. So now he's got her living in Fredericksburg. Not for long, but just look. So they're living in Fredericksburg. That's where they've been for the past year. And now we're looking at, ironically enough, moving to DC. I do appreciate this reaction. I don't think they're very good hosts. I think they're actually pretty terrible hosts. They do not ask the hard questions or hard enough. And your jokes are so bad, bro. God, both of yours are. But I do appreciate this reaction. And I appreciate Marshall being in the audience. Marshall and AD, their reactions were all of our reactions. But you know, we spent a long time in San Diego and a lot of time abroad. No, you were just traveling. Like, okay, pretty sure you weren't living abroad. You're traveling. Great. That's great. Taylor and I went through some moments where, as you saw on the show, it was very difficult for me to be away from my mama and my family and friends and to process that. Yeah, because you lied. You were asked so many times, are you cool with this? And you lied to her and her friends' faces. And I wanted to give that to Taylor. You know, do the thing I said I was going to do, sacrifice everything. Like I literally said verbatim, I'm going to show you that I was going to do. I wanted to give that to Taylor so bad. And we tried. Oh, you didn't, doesn't sound like you tried hard enough. We spent a lot of time away, but it was very difficult for me to go through that. To be away from my mama for, you know, to go on a trip overseas, all those pictures they showed in the reunion, to spend time. It was so hard. Yeah, it's like I never thought it might be a big deal to sacrifice my job, my friends, my family, and the life I built for a woman. It never occurred to me that that might actually be a big deal. And because he either A, straight up lied knowing he wasn't going to do that, or B, didn't think about it. Like men are always like, oh, we'll figure it out. Stop worrying so much. It'll all work out. No, it won't. It will never work out for the woman. It'll work out for you, but it'll never work out for the woman. So whenever men say, we'll figure it out, it'll be fine, I trust it'll all work. It only works out because she's going to compromise a lot, or she's going to figure everything out for you. Men don't worry enough about anything, which is why we are so full of anxiety. And I ended up sharing with Taylor. I love the way he worded this crap. It was difficult. I hope you shared that with her. What this is code for. I told Taylor I'm not willing to do this crap. And so her being so incredibly understanding and deferring to the king baby and his needs and his big feelings, like I wanted everyone in this room to do a minute ago because I was uncomfortable with the conflict. And it's a patient wife that she is. We talked about it and she agreed maybe to do something a bit more neutral, something closer to home. How is y'all not moving to the place she really wanted to go to neutral? DC sound like the natural fit, did it? Who? I mean, at least you don't have her stuck in Fredericksburg. At least she has friends in DC, so I guess that's, better than Fredericksburg. Still. Literally, when you see how many times this man gave her the impression that he was going to follow her, and wouldn't you know, in the end, he didn't. The thing that was so important to her. So now I am going to go back and show you all the things I find concerning about this man. And actually, I would bet that she's going to be pregnant in the next couple years because she's compromising on seems like everything so far, but they're excited to start a life together and see where it goes. Now, of course, she says, I lived in DC for 5 years, and the show had approached me, and I was ready to go home. Home? Where's home? San Diego. Not just her parents, but she said in another episode that it's like her whole family is in San Diego. And guess what, Garrett? She's close to her family too, but men don't care. Men are always going to center themselves and what they want unless they deconstruct their entitlement under patriarchy, and also can stand up to their mom. So Taylor thought this was her last hurrah. You can clearly see how amazing my parents are and how I was ready to be by them. And guess whose parents came to the show? Her parents, not his. I bet his mom still hates her. You could feel, and I know this because I speak Southern white woman. I was raised in the South as a white woman with white women in my family, and the way his mom talks, oh God, you could tell she does not want her little baby boy moving away. And I'm pretty sure Cecilia Regina actually covers the race issue way better than I could. So please go watch her video on her concerns about this family. But I'm not convinced that they still. I bet that his mother is the most passive aggressive. I would hate to have her as my mother-in-law if I was Taylor. Whatever. But let's continue. When you get married, you become a unit. So Taylor, gosh, I've been on a reality TV show. It was for National Geographic, so it's nothing like this. So I know a lot about the editing that happens. There was like no drama on the show. This wasn't about anything like that, right? But, I know a thing or two about reality TV. I've worked in the film industry. I've actually worked on one episode of Who Wants to Work for Diddy or whatever the heck it was called. I can't believe I did that. I didn't meet him, whatever. It was like 2 days. But I have friends who are casting agents. I've worked in film, and I was on National Geographic. And I'm telling you, we don't know these people. All of this could be so different than what we think. But given the version of Taylor that we are given, I like her. What I don't like is her making herself smaller. Her accepting, overlooking red flags. And I'm going to show you some of those in a minute. And I don't think this is necessarily about her, but what men do to us when we don't deconstruct our centering of men, and then we end up with a king baby who won't deconstruct either. We end up being forced through social pressure, our own internalized misogyny and patriarchy, and him, and how he wants what he wants, and it was just too difficult to be away from mommy. We end up, when they say like sacrifice, marriage is compromise. No, marriage is negotiation. And when you have compromise is basically what women do. Men's compromise is I'm not going to fork anyone else, and then they end up doing it anyway. And I don't know, maybe having to share some of their money, even though we know statistically they only share like 30, whatever. Women put 90% of their money back into the family, and men, I think, give 30. So whatever, they are like not compromising much. Women are the ones who compromise. And I'm going to show you all the ways that she is having to compromise. And Garrett's like a good guy. This is what happens with a good guy, y'all. Don't fall for it. These men are all on the same, they're on the entitlement spectrum, the king baby spectrum. And he seems like he's got a lot of king baby energy still. So she's talking to her parents. I love you guys so much, and I don't know what the future has, but home is with Garrett. Even in his podunk town I don't want to be in. And so I'm excited to figure out this next, look at his face. He's like, that's my wife, defending our decision to live in DC because I wanted what I wanted. Look at her go. And then everyone in the show is all choked up as if this is a good thing. This is not a good thing. And I'm going to show you how much she wanted to move to San Diego. And then she says, but we're a family unit. My home is with Garrett. And so I'm basically going to go live in a city that, it's better than Fredericksburg, where she's been hanging out for a year, enough away from being able to see her friends a lot. So she's compromised, and everyone is like, oh my God, look at them, look at her. I hate this. God, I hate this so much. Let's go back to some of the things I don't like about this. When she would not tell him her mom's first name, because she knew it would give away her ethnicity. He said, you're calculated. What's she hiding? The words he used to explain her, methodical, carefully curated image she's presenting. And this really hurt her because she was like, what the hell? I thought that I was gonna like meet someone who like Another thing they talked about in the pods early on. She gave him a tree and he was like, you said something about the tree providing fruit in 5 to 10 years. And that's kind of your timeline for children. 5 to 10 years is a very long time in my head, like my initial reaction. I was definitely thinking sooner. Yeah, of course you were, bro. Because just like moving across the country 4 time zones away, and not being with your mommy and not being with your friends or your career or giving all that stuff up front, you didn't really think that went through. So you probably haven't really thought about what children actually mean. And, it's been said a lot on the internet lately. People have said this in my comments too. Most men think about having children the way children think about getting a dog. But if you think of most children who get dogs, who is the one walking that dog doing all the stuff? It's usually not the man. Nick wouldn't even feed his freaking cat. So she says, yeah, I said 5 to 7. I mean, that's a long time, but it's not a deal breaker. But I would love to talk to you about compromising. Women should never compromise on their timeline to have children, or whether they want to have children or not. Because a lot of women don't want to have children, and men talk them into it. But do not ever compromise about this timeline, because women understand what the impact of childhood or having kids is going to have on them, their body, their careers, their whole life. They understand, usually not even fully, because we don't tell them. We purposely put mothers on a pedestal, and then once women have children, they're like, just kidding. Did you know this is gonna suck? And even if women don't regret having kids at all, most women are not prepared for how much society and their trash husbands are going to try to force them to do and sacrifice. So the compromising is always about the woman, not the man. Almost always. Not with men like this. Yeah, but I don't think it's something that we have to compromise on. I always thought that maybe like marriage and falling in love and doing the whole kids thing was something that I was kind of, I'd say, dragging my feet on, because I was worried that I was going to it was going to make me rush into something I had to compromise on time, or I had to compromise on my independence in some way. But I feel with you, it's something I'm excited about. Oh my God. I don't know. There's a few things that Taylor said throughout this season that I was like, oh God, don't say that to a man. There's also some things she said where I was like, oh yeah, look at you. Yeah, that's what women should be saying. So one of the things I did not like was, so when are you going to ask me to be your girlfriend? This is like a precursor to what Cecilia Regina calls the shut up ring. So when are you going to? And he does. Another thing that he said that she didn't like was that he thinks of Shrek when he thinks of her. I don't know. I don't remember his explanation, but she didn't like it. Another thing I don't like that he said, we're supposed to be getting engaged and you're playing hard to get. Hard to earn. Let's be very clear. I love that. Love that. Love that. That's how we should be thinking. Also don't like, no. I think a lot of women on this show are like doing too much. I can see you as my life partner. Well, they're like writing letters to men. Whenever I see one of these women writing a letter to men, I'm like, oh God. Please don't let this man think that he is the prize. Because with patriarchy behind him, he's going to take that and run with it. She asked, what do you think this was later on after that really terrible conversation around ethnicity. What do you think it's going to feel like when you see me for the first? Well, it's going to be a shock because I have no idea what you look like. Hope you're not too ethnic. Are you worried how I look at all? Nope. I swear most of the women are like, no. Which I actually like that, but also I don't like the idea that women are not supposed to be attracted to our partner, that we're supposed to just date a Shrek. Like, fuck that. No, I do think women should care about looks, because that's how we end up with a Shrek situation. God, that guy was so, I gotta do it. I gotta break down that movie. That guy was such a self-pitying, like, stick in the mud. Okay, but that's like a love story. Great. She says, I guess we haven't said we love each other yet. Taylor. Stop. I hate on this show. You see women even being like pushing men to commit, even in the pods. Like, God. Something else that's really interesting is because Garrett has no dating experience and clearly didn't dress very well until he got with Taylor. I would definitely, he's glowing up in this relationship. That's for sure. That's why this whole picture was going viral. People are like, okay, this dude is either with Taylor or someone else, because there's no way this man would know to do this without a woman's help. But he says several times that he would have never approached. Part of me thinks it's because he's only dated, white girls, according to him. He also mentioned in one of their first conversations on their honeymoon Like, how does this even happen? We've never met, never thought to talk to each other. If I bumped into you on the hill, he's like, okay, cool. Like, who's this boss ass? I would have been like, this person is too good for me. Like, I can't get anywhere near that country bumpkin from Fredericksburg, Virginia that I made her move to. Now, I do think that it is important that men, be like, wow, like, because if they're just like, then those are the men who are literally, you're going to realize after a year of marriage, they hate you. So I think this man knows that she is out of his league and he's shocked that he is with her. And yet still he has this audacity. And this is what, I wouldn't be surprised if this man cheats on her. Because now he's glowing up in this relationship. This beautiful woman is with him. So now this man who didn't date for 7 years and really didn't know that he could be like a catch has all this confidence, and his Instagram. Do you know how many women are probably following this man now and messaging him? I am convinced that men only go on this show so that women will follow them on Instagram and DM them. Because who watches this show? Our cishet men are probably not watching this show. And the ones who are is probably by force, or, maybe they say, or they're evolved enough to not think it's emasculating to watch a show like this. But it is women, mostly, who are watching this show. Why are all the rom-coms written not for women, but to women that sell us on all these ideas of settling for like a Beauty and the Beast crap or Little Mermaid? This is every love story, I swear to God, is like Beauty and the Beast, where a literal buffalo looking man who sucks and who's a selfish prick and everyone's afraid of him, you are somehow going to make him a better man. This is actually a combination of Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid. Usually it's like both. But this man who throws tables at you, now you are going to make the beast into a man. Or, Little Mermaid, where she's like, oh my God, I love him. I've literally never seen him do anything but just being, on a shit. Sorry, that's a pirate. Just be, on a dead. She falls in love with him because he's dead? Like what? Now she wants to have a whole new world. A whole new, leave everything she loves to be with a man, and she can't talk. You know what I mean? And so this is kind of both. She is definitely Belle, but now she's living the Little Mermaid story. And now this man has all this attention, is a good guy, which is the worst. Once men think that they're a good guy in the eyes of the world, that's when they're at their worst. They got everybody fooled. So I don't know. I hope Garrett proves me wrong, but the fact that he is very king baby in the examples I've already shown you and the ones I'm going, I don't know if he can handle internet fame and all the women who are probably like, oh my God, Garrett. Because if they think if these women are on the internet who watch this show are fighting so hard for Nick, an unemployed loser who doesn't even know how to boil water, what do you think they're doing in his DMs? And we know he already has an issue with lying about that because he lied to her face. After this whole speech about how he's just a country bumpkin from Fredericksburg, Virginia, and he would have never approached, you understand me better than I could have ever hoped for in a partner. And he does say some nice things about her sometimes, but just like most men in their vows and just in general on the show especially, when you ask them what they really like about their partner, it's how she makes me feel. I can be vulnerable with her. Like Tyler, God, and Ramse. Vulnerable. I feel safe. I feel vulnerable. Basically, this woman will put up with all my crap and I can do she'll make me feel good. I'm not saying that's not important part of a relationship. You feel comfortable, you feel but it's always about them and how they feel. Understand me better than anybody. And I love that. Not I love you. I love that. I love that I felt comfortable and confident going forward with you. She makes him feel confident and good about himself. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but that should not be the only thing he's talking about. I do love how Taylor called him out on this. You know what? She probably said a lot of other stuff that I would love to be like, yeah, but I'm just showing the examples that I've seen. Yeah, I hear that, but women hear a lot of words. I need a lot of action. I love that she brought that up. She even said, I don't feel like I would have been the person if you thought that I just blindly be confident about this entire thing. So I do like that she kind of holds him And I love the way she confronted him at that dumb party with his whole text. That showed a lot about this man's character. And unlike she said that she had to be 200% confident in him before she'd taken him to San Diego. And then she was like, I don't really feel confident. She took him anyway. So this is like, Love is Blind is a great example of women self-abandoning. Not always because of them, but because of the way men manipulate and lie so much. And also because of our own conditioning. It's about how this whole thing is meant to put pressure on the situation. And we're going to handle pressure differently. Great point. We get back to DC. There are things we're going to need to talk about. Yeah. We have a lot of problems we still have to solve. That's like a sciencey, brainy thing, maybe. She's like, what problem? Like, we're trying to align two very well set up, very structured, highly intense lives. Two very ambitious, aggressive people. She's like, I'm aggressive professionally. She's like, oh yeah, okay. And how much are we willing to compromise for one another? I love that he just keeps bringing up compromise because he's really expecting compromise. We now learn why he brought this up so much. So like, is it worth it to each of us? We know there's love there. We know there's a strong passion for one another, but is it enough? Right now, I can say 100% I feel, yes, I'm willing and ready to change my life for you. She's so happy to hear that. If only it were true. It's not true. He ain't gonna change for you other than like dress nicer, which is what he should have already been doing. So let's play false promise bingo. Change my life for you. He literally is going to say this so many times. I'm going to San Diego. And then what does he do? He definitely doesn't change his life for her. Then again, when we go back and we see some of the conversations they had, I'm not surprised that this man expects her to change, given the things that she said about her mom, who is a role model for her. So she says, so my mom, she's kind of like me. She likes what she likes. She likes her alone time. Love that. Here's where I don't like. She has a couple of friends that she really enjoys, but she just loves her family. Now, I don't have a problem with that. She's the person that's like, well, of course I'm going to drop everything. Bake this cake for someone's birthday. Oh, he's like, oh, I like her. I'm excited to meet mom. So then Taylor's like, it sounds like your mom is very dynamic, very fun. I mean, that's not what I saw, but okay. So this is all very telling, okay? Listen to men, let them talk. Growing up, I looked up to her a lot because of who she was. Because of the things that she taught me, but who she was with other people. Oh, you mean like the giving tree? I don't care what she taught me, like whatever. But I love that when she's around other people, she just gives with no personal boundaries of her own. She cares about everyone else before herself. God, I hate this. This is what we need to stop glorifying. If I have to go to one more funeral of a woman that was like, she just gave and she put everyone else first, that's why she's dead. God! So if you hear a man talking about this and he thinks this is a good thing, watch out. Watch out. That's what you're expected to do. Like, she'll make sure everyone is fed and that just everything's been taken care of before she takes care of herself. Cool. Sounds like the giving tree. Sounds like a codependency and what women are forced to do under patriarchy. I love that. And I aspire to be like that. But here's the problem, bro. As much as I love to see that you aspire to be like that, you are a man, a white man at that, under patriarchy. So you will never be that unless you unpack this entitlement. As much as you would aspire to be that way, once you have Taylor or just a white, your wife or mom who's going to do all that stuff, you will never be this person because why would you? Why would you? So then Taylor says, yes. Now they bond over the fact that at a dinner party, she says, I'm not sitting, I'm chatting and chatting with people. I'm doing stuff. And they're both like, yeah, I'm always running around hosting. When I'm host, I'm exhausted afterwards. I don't sit down at all, is what he said. Then she's like, yeah, I feel like there's a lot of pride being knowledgeable and planning things. Sure. But if you understand how men behave once they get married and especially have children, if they're not checking themselves and unlearning this crap, who do you think is planning everything? Literally everything. It isn't him. Who's going to be planning all these holiday meals? Who's going to make holiday magic? Birthday magic? It is not going to be Garrett, I bet you. He just loves that his mom sacrificed everything at the expense of herself. and doesn't see a problem with that. He's like, they're like, is it a good thing that we're both that way, or is that a bad thing? I think it can only be a good thing. It is a good thing, but problem is that you will no longer be that way. Once look what's already happened. You already got her moving, like revolving her entire life around you in this town she don't want to live in. Just saying. She's like, if you have your crap everywhere, and they're like, oh no, I forgot my password. She's already hinting at like, yeah, like don't be that dude who's like, I'm a great planner, but then literally makes me do everything. I feel like they edited some stuff out here. The editing in this show is so bad. There's so many conversations where I'm like, what just happened? Anyway, she says this. Don't tell men this. Not this early on, at least. I'm not very good at asking for things. I could just do it myself. Cool. Like, this is why men love independent women. Because we don't ask for much. We don't expect much because we're so used to taking care of ourselves. Where men like this, they haven't checked their entitlement, then they are going to have no problem asking for things. And they don't even have to ask for things because women have been conditioned to just do it for them. And they also don't ask for things because they just won't do it. They just won't do it. They'll just wait. So you're going to do it, right? He's even like, yeah, I get it. Like, I just can't be like independent. No, bro, you need to be more independent, I promise. I promise you, however independent you are now, you will not be that man in a marriage unless you understand patriarchy and like fight against it. I'm just like independent Garrett. Like, I guess it's not going to work that way. Unfortunately, you're right, Garrett. You will no longer be independent Garrett in all the wrong ways. You will be dependent like a child king baby Garrett. So they finally get to DC where she lives. He lives in Fredericksburg. I am not sure. We never saw his place. Did we? I don't remember seeing his place. And he lives in Fredericksburg, where his parents live. Does he live with his parents? He says he has a place in Fredericksburg, but we never saw it. Just saying. Anyway, when he gets to their place, she says beforehand, she is like on her way to moving to San Diego. This is such a big part of her plan that all her friends know about it. And we're like wondering if she would tell him about it. He is like barely here. You can tell. So he kind of makes fun of her because she just has like an empty fridge with only beer. But like a responsible person wouldn't leave much food in the fridge anyway. She's going to go be on Love is Blind. It's like protein shakes and beer. Like, what are we doing here? You know what he's probably thinking? Crap, she's not like mom. This is like a bachelor dude's fridge. I mean, honestly, I can relate to Taylor so much. I don't cook. I still don't. My husband does all the cooking. He's all like, what is this place? Like, I love that she has all these cups. She clearly hosts parties. I'm speechless. Jeez Louise. I thought women were like, mama. So then they have this very important conversation. We should talk about how we want to live after this. And he's like, I think it makes a lot of sense to just move with me to Fredericksburg. And figure out what we want to do from there. But yeah, we should talk about it. This conversation is so enlightening because in the end, this is exactly what he gets. He gets what he wants, but he entertains all these conversations about living in San Diego. This man never was going to move to San Diego. It just makes sense for her to move to Why does that make sense? She's got a lovely apartment. We haven't seen yours, bro. Why does this just make sense for her to move out of a city? She's a city woman. She's said that to your podunk town. I know it's not a small town, but whatever. And we just figure it out for that. The same way men are like, I don't know, let's just have a baby and we'll figure it out. She's like, so you've never not lived in Fredericksburg, huh? No, like other than Cali in the past summer. And I lived in Virginia Beach. No, I'm a mama's boy. I gotta be near my mama. So she's like, San Diego is always a place that has always been a place I want. And I'm excited that I got to see your family and your family's home, but I love San Diego. That's where I want to raise my family. This is a very important issue. Now, I will say, I don't know why she went on this show if she did not want to live in San Diego or in DC. Like, a little bit of that is her own delusion. Like, I get it. You're like, why not? But why would you go on a show knowing that you are hell-bent on moving? And my guess is that she thought, well, if she meets someone, like, this is her hard line. She's going to move to San Diego and then come with her or not. Maybe it never occurred to her that he would lie and say he's going to do it and then convince her to do the original plan, which just go to Fredericksburg and figure it out. You know what? I wouldn't even be surprised if they never move back to DC. They said on the show that's what they're going to do, but I haven't looked it up. Is that where they actually live? It's somewhere that is really easy for me. I'm excited for us to go there and spend some time there and for you to get a feel for it before you completely commit to it. This right here said, we're going to go there and see if you're willing to live there. Because I want to be there. I want to raise a family near my family. She is very close to her mother, clearly. So in my take on this, and this is how it's been from the beginning, I was kind of shocked that he just kept reassuring her he's going to move to San Diego. Because I was like, that's not what most men do. You know, they expect you to be the sidecar and they're the motorcycle. And you just hop on and go where they go, to Fredericksburg. But she understands that, you know what, before you do this huge thing for me, like we got to go visit and see how you feel about it before we fully commit. By fully commit, I mean get married. Do you feel better about it? I like California a lot. But here's how he's just going to be. Saying one thing, but he means something else. He's just far from the family. That's the tough part. Yeah, bro, we know she's far from her family right now. She knows what that's like. When we talked about it in the pods, I was like, yeah, I'm open to it. Don't ever believe men when they say this. And then, like, now you and I got engaged and I started to think about it. This is like something very serious. I never thought about it. Okay, how do I feel about it? And I've sat with it for quite a while. You know, like, I've made it clear that, like, I care a lot about my parents. I care a lot about the experiences that they have in life, too. And I know that they would love to see me with someone that I love and have kids. And naturally, they want to be a part of that. So hearing that I'm, like, considering moving to San Diego for this woman is not exciting for them. See, this is when you know he may have promised her all this stuff, but either A, he never intended to move, and or B, he didn't really think really what it meant to move. I also think his mom has been in his ear and she's like, what? And therefore, it's not exciting for me from that perspective, from my mommy's perspective. It's exciting for me because this is like what I want in my life is to be with you. So I'm very much open to it. In other words, here's something to make you shut the fork up, but I'm never going to agree to this. That's what open to it means. And I'm excited to talk about it and to like potentially do it. Like, wait. It seemed like moving to San Diego was something that you were excited about. So this is all new to me. So I don't know what he said before, but she was under the impression that this man was not just open to it, that he was excited about it. And so to hear that this is how much of a concession it is, I want to make sure that that concession is something that's very much appreciated and worthwhile. And I want to make sure that your family feels like they're a part of our family. And I think we can be intentional how we raise a family or just ourselves coming back. She's like, yeah, you know, I work remote because it's federal stuff. I have reasons to come back. She's trying to reassure him that they're going to come back to DC a lot. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. She's thinking about these things. And she's thinking about the impact it might have on him for him to move to San Diego. But what this man will never think about is the impact it's going to have on her to raise a family and far away from her parents. A mother that she is clearly very close to. She's trying to reassure him. I mean, I think she's a little delusional here too. Okay? Just saying. But it's never going to be like we're going to go to San Diego and then just disappear. He's like, yeah, but I want my kids to have that loving grandparent relationship, not just once a year. Like Christmas, here's grandma and grandpa. Like, who are these people? I don't want. You see, this conversation right here should have broken them up because this is too important to both of them. But guess what? That's not what happened. He started to assure her that he's going to make all these concessions. Until they got married, he locked it in. And now guess what? She's stuck in Fredericksburg. He's like, no, I don't want that for my kid. She makes this joke about her dad to lighten the mood. And then they just kind of blow it off and are like, I'm excited to meet them. He's like, I'm excited to meet them. But then she's like, it's not just my parents. I have a huge family in San Diego. And we see that family later. It's this big old table full of people. So she can't wait to bring him to San Diego for him to see all these people that are very important. I think, like, once I see all that, I think it'll, like, make more sense to me. Yes, feeling much better about it for sure. This makes me insane. You know, this is the same way he talked in circles when she caught that he was texting with his ex. Just blah, 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 By the way, what is that? Oh my God, that's his tail. Mouse. Oh, hello. He's been sleeping this whole time. You made it this far. Will you just say, wag the tail, wag the tail, wag the tail? Because I don't know if anybody gets this far. Like, yeah, if I'm like, you know, after I'm sitting on this for a while, I'm going to be like saying, yeah, I'm open to it for sure. But am I willing to actually do it? I can definitely say that, like, I'm not only willing to, like, I'm excited about it. She's like, yeah, I think you're going to like it. He's like, so you're excited. She's like, elated. So this man knows this is so important to her. I feel like so vulnerable right now because I'm leaning in so hard to you. And like, I'm very sold on you. And it's scary to do that. You're amazing. Oh my God, you are too. Absolutely perfect for me. And we're perfect. The way they are always saying this crap to each other when it's like, clearly there's like an issue. He's like, if you change your mind or feel differently, I'll end up looking like a fool. Not feeling, looking like a fool. I'll be crushed. It's worth it because if I don't fully lean in, I could lose you. By leaning in, he means promises to do all this stuff he's not going to do. She says, yeah, sometimes I'm worried that you'll change your mind. And she has a good reason to worry about it because what she's asking is for him to literally, this is why I make so many videos about don't move for a man. This is why. But I'm really excited to do life with you. I love you too, babe. Nothing was resolved here. Now, another point, she says you haven't been in a relationship for 7 years. So that's where I got that. Yeah, but that was by choice. Okay. This man is used to just spear fishing and doing his own. And by the way, I'm a big, strong, independent man on Instagram full of. Dude, you guys, I hooked up with a dude who's a spear fisher when I was in LA. They remind me of climbers. Very expensive, very time intensive, very somewhat selfish sport. Not something that a father should do later on. Like, I had no idea that they are literally like dealing with sharks a lot. Like when this guy, y'all, and I'm a climber and I literally like am, like almost died too many times. And this spearfisher guy was telling me about like spearfishing. I was like, oh my God, that sounds like way scarier than climbing. This man had talked about how sharks would bite him to make sure, like, I was like, what? I don't know. But when they looked at each other's social media, she's thinking, oh, I'm just going to see crazy fish. What I do? Like, yeah, all I do is work and go spearfishing. Dude, is this a climber, bro? Marathon man, spearfisher, hunter, golf, widow maker? Because that's all he posts about. The best fish, I like dangerous fish. I risk my ass for these fish. Like life on the edge. Uh-oh. We got a climber, bro. Watch out. Like, I almost died chasing these fish kind of stuff. When men say this, believe them. This dude is adrenaline guy. Adrenaline guy is bad news usually. So then they go out to meet his parents. And he says, I'm bringing a city girl to meet everybody. And this is where his parents live. And Mama Garrett she seems to be crying in every single scene of this whole show. She does not like baby Garrett getting married off. Nobody's good enough for her baby boy. And I'm guessing he's her oldest son. Now we know that toxic boy moms are usually a nightmare. Well, not usually, always a nightmare mother-in-law. But you got here a white toxic boy mom in the South. If like king babies are everywhere. But the level of entitled white man king baby syndrome is so much worse in the South. And it's a lot of times because mommy, I'm not blaming it on moms because moms are also a victim of patriarchy, but patriarchy wouldn't exist without women like this. Forking her oppressor and birthing her oppressor. And white women, we like, that's why like we are literally like the weakest link in feminism. Like everyone's waiting for us to get our crap together and stop birthing entitled king baby and treating them like a little prince. Because, the South is like patriarchy on steroids. And some of the most like incestuous, enmeshed relationships between mothers and sons tends to happen in Christian or religious families that are super conservative. And they tend to look like me. Right out of the gate, she's like, this like really shocks me. Like, you've never been one to wear your heart. Like, she's just like, she keeps saying like all these things like, I know my son. What has happened to him? I was really surprised. They talk about their Sunday meals together and how he's the bartender. Like, there's a lot of little clues here. Like, hey, Bert, if you're going to marry into this family, your ass is going to be here every Sunday. Taylor is at their house every Sunday, probably all day after church. So this man, and Cecilia Regina's video on this is really great. He's like really trying to sell his whole family on her. Like, she's like an undergrad in chemistry. Oh! And then, so mom's like, I overheard your parents like don't want to participate. So how's that gonna work? Actually, I don't know if the sister and the mom were like, the contrast between the way Taylor's family just, even though they had doubts, they were so kind to this man. And she goes to their house, and there's that like silent violence that is it's so big I'll speak for myself. In Southern white family, this weird, like, this tension that is in the air. I mean, Anthony came to Tennessee and was in this environment and was like, I feel like I'm wearing a straitjacket. This feels like really violent because everyone's smiling, but like they seem angry. And I'm like, yeah, welcome to the South. Welcome to white womanhood. So she does this whole thing and explains it all. And she's like, yeah, I'm sure. And she just keeps chiming in, well, you guys have a lot to figure out. And she explains that she's a clean energy consultant. Okay. And the husband's like, that's a growing industry for sure. It's important. It's definitely important for our environment. And then Garrett's like, she has a master's degree from Johns Hopkins. And, oh, wow. Very impressive. So Taylor's like really selling herself and their relationship so hard. And the whole time the mom's like, this is the contained anger of white women. I know this looks so well. You will never convince me this woman is happy for him. Smile no matter what. But you can feel it. Every time they cut over to her, she's doing this. And, he's doing a pretty good job of being like, she's the one, I want to, like, blah, blah, blah. The parents are just like, my baby boy. And the dad is like he's like not much better than Dawn. And then she's like, I'm sure you guys have talked about it, but the hard stuff. Like, she's like, is there anything yet that's going to break you up? Let me know. Because marriage is a compromise. See, that's where he gets this from. Dawn! Raising kids and stuff is hard. And the dad's like, tell me about it. She says, shut your face. Good luck in this household. He's like, yeah, we've been talking about kids. We're good. And then it's such a big life decision to do it so fast. I don't want him hurt. I mean, I don't want you hurt. I definitely don't want to. I adore my son. Crying. Y'all, she's crying every time we see her. She does not want this marriage. But like a good Southern white woman, she is playing it cool, trying to contain her rage. There's a reason why me and my sister call this is a smiling bulldozer. She may be doing all this and dropping some little jab, but she's going to be emailing her son all kinds of stuff to get in his head that he's making a mistake. And then she really gets into crying. I know your parents love you. Voice breaks. I hate this, but we'll grow to love you. It's just so fast. And look, I'm not denying that this isn't a crazy thing to ask of parents. I think any family would be like, wow. And then also having cameras in there. Like, I mean, this whole thing is crazy. And I kind of think it's weird. People go on the show and then they rope their families into having to do this. So we are all talking about these people none of us know. I am literally just using this as an example of a larger cultural thing. I don't know this. She could be the nicest person on the planet. Just want to be clear about that. But this is my wheelhouse. These are my people. I know us very well. And again, the sister is just like, it's only been 2 weeks. And then it's like your wedding. And Dawn just keeps crying, and says it's all out of love, And then she gives another speech. I know that I'm new here. Like, I hate how she was made to feel in this whole thing. Like, she was literally on the defense. Like, no, I love your son. No, I'm a good person. No. I'm a scientist. I went to Johns Hopkins. Or that he said that. They're both like, no, it's okay. Like, love her. And look at the mom. She's got her other king baby. Like, it's okay, mommy. I'm the king now. She's like, I don't know. I love your son. And then she does all this stuff. She knows, women know how to work women like this. I see a beautiful future with him. And I can see that he's so wonderful because of the place he came from. Y'all made him this wonderful. She's like, damn it. She's saying all the right things. And I just really want to be a wonderful addition to your family. We do too. We hear the love and the care and the concern. She is not okay with it. And you know how we know that? Because she emails him right away. Because the next time they are out, they go to dinner. And this also is right after Steven gets busted messaging that woman. They have to console Monica. This is what I mean. Men who kind of suck look amazing compared to the Stevens of the world. She was just like, that situation, like the way you handled it. It's like that what I value about you most. How you say something moment that makes it better. Well, he did that once, but then look what he did at the reunion. I literally is the person that made it worse. So she was incredibly grateful. I mean, and who doesn't love to see their boyfriend or husband stand up for your friend? You want that. Everybody deserves a Garrett. No, everyone deserves better than a Garrett. Nobody deserves a Steven, but people deserve better than Garrett. So they start talking about moving to San Diego. I'm so excited to take you there. And I appreciate the huge leap of wanting to move to a new city across the country, away from your hometown to be with me. And he's like, yeah, well, mommy's been texting me or emailing me. My mom's email was like, oh wait, you're gonna marry this person we just met? I don't know, it was in that email. It wasn't good. He's like, I struggle to tell you things my parents say to me. She's like, yeah, this is kind of making me a little insecure. Basically, she was like, but you can have this private conversation. Like, please don't tell me all this. I need to be a part of it. It has nothing to do with you. Okay. Although I don't disagree, because she probably would hate anybody. Toxic boy mom are just jealous of the women their sons marry, but whatever. Maybe she's not talking about them. I don't know. Again, she's like, I just really appreciate you wanting to go to San Diego with my parents. Ask for my dad's hand in marriage, all this stuff, blah. I don't even believe in that, by the way, but okay. So then he meets her friends, and this is a conversation that really pisses me right out of the gate. He's like, yep, she wants to move to San Diego, has no interest in raising a family in Fredericksburg. Friends were like, I'm glad that you're honest with him. I told him how important this is to you. Even we're like, does he know? And she's like, it's a dream for me to move back to San Diego. I'd always thought I'd had to compromise on this. But finding someone who wants to make that dream happen for me. This other friend is like, so, it's far from Virginia. Like, basically, do you know what you're getting yourself into, bro? It's far from everything you know and hold dear. I love friends like this. Everyone needs friends like this. And I just worry about, like, do you feel like you might be making a lot more changes than you'd like to? You're going from Fredericksburg to San Diego. You're giving up the work life that you've set up, your friends and family. And that sounds like a lot. And then he goes into this crap. But before I met Taylor, I would have never thought I'd have done these things. Turns out he doesn't. And this is why my friends are so surprised. My family's surprised. I've never felt anything like this. I've never known anybody like this. What I have with Taylor is far and above worth giving up everything over. Do you see why she thought he was going to move? Working 60, 70 hours a week. I need to scale back to 4. I will give up my business and they can buy me out. Although that's not what she wants. I told her, honestly, my mom was surprised. She was like, you would do that? Yeah. No. Honestly, Taylor's worth giving up anything. For me, I just want to be with Taylor. Lies, lies, lies. Because what did he say at the reunion? Well, I thought about it and told her, nah, we're going to start our own family and our own story. And that's what I'm excited about. I can't imagine doing anything else without her. But I won't move to her city that's so important to her. I'm very, very happy to go wherever she wants to go. Liar! Knowing now what's in front of me and Taylor, yeah, I'll throw it all away. I'm just crazy about her. So fucking crazy about her. So they head out to San Diego, despite that huge argument they had where he communicated so terribly. I could do a whole separate video on just that. Let me know if you want to hear it, but it's too much to add into this. And again, he's like, I could totally live here. They meet all these people. I'm officially a Padres fan. They have this moment, they're aligned. Her mother's like, welcome to the family. Totally different energy than his mom. Then when they're on their date, he's like, look, there's Fredericksburg. This little king baby is obsessed with his hometown. Are we surprised he didn't leave? On their date, he's like, oh my God, I feel so relaxed. She's like, don't get too comfortable. He's like, yeah, your dad told me. Well, he's already comfortable enough to change literally all of the agreements that they had going into the marriage. Then they have this party. I just don't know if I have the energy to do Ashley because, wow, I hate that she ended up with Tyler. But she's really wants to get married. Look, we're engaged as far. The last two standing. Then she does this speech, which I hate. Ashley and I are very strong women. No doubt about that. They both are amazing. But then she says that if something comes up that would have been a non-negotiable thing before, we would have just immediately walked away, done. My go-to thing is delete all of our text messages. I delete your number. I pretend like they died. See, why did y'all both betray yourselves? Then she was like, but this thing is fast, and we have to give a lot more grace to ourselves and to the men when they mess up. Like texting somebody and lying to my face about it. And they get to cheers the I do crew. This is what patriarchy does to us. We've made it. The I do crew. This is the self-abandoned crew. Settled for less crew. So, sorry, change sceneries. He has this touching little moment with Taylor's dad. He says, my job is just to be there for her and support her and make sure she fulfills who she should be and who she wants to be. She wanted to move to San Diego, brah. I promise to be there for her and always respect her and put her feelings first. Then we cut to him talking to his mom, and she's like, you remember it's the biggest decision, biggest one you ever made. Like, yeah, and she's like, you're overwhelmed. She's still talking about how shocked they are. All the people closest to him. It's hard to imagine that you would make this decision so fast. He has to do this whole thing again. Well, I know you don't know her, blah, blah, blah. She's brilliant, blah, blah, blah. You aren't usually so spontaneous when it comes to serious things. This seems spontaneous. It's like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's a heavy decision. It's one of the biggest ones you'll ever make. He basically is like, no, this is the woman who sees for me. And then she starts crying. Uh-oh, she's not going to get her way. This is when she realized, like, crap, I got to go along with it. Looks like you got your mind made up. I don't have any intention of trying to talk you out of that. That is such white woman speak for, no, don't think I don't agree with it. Oh, it's such passive aggressiveness. Just a very smart, intelligent mind. Being married, blah, 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 blah. She knows because she's on camera. She has to go along with it now and pretend like she's so supportive of it. But I see you, Dawn. I just love you so much. That's like, we know you're giving it a lot of forethought than we ever did. She's like, that's right. And I think these people hate each other. Like, I'm not convinced that they like each other. So then at the wedding, Taylor's dad presents her, which I hate this truth. But look at her face. Father does. I thought it's supposed to be her mother and I do. Isn't that what they're supposed to say? But okay, the father presents her. We know. This man even said it. That this woman holds the whole family together. I literally screenshotted it. I can't find it while doing this. Every time they cut to her, she's doing this. Well, the producer, the camera people, editor. These are all very intentional choices. And again, I promise to always put your feelings first. He says a bunch of other nonsense that has like nothing to do with her. Their vows are very telling, by the way. I don't have time to go into it. But I promise to always put your feelings first. This is like the third time he said this, I think. Clear example of him putting his own feelings first in literally the most important agreement of their marriage. He put his feelings first. Shocker. I just want to end on a one last quote from him. It's very telling. I think he just said out loud what most men think. But right before he got married, and he's like, my parents are upset. They're still supportive. They're faking it, basically. They're just upset about the idea of me moving to San Diego and stuff. Again, this is why they're not moving to San Diego. He didn't want to go, but I think more importantly, Mama didn't want him to go. And he says this. I've never been in a situation where I've not had all the power. But I really want to be with this girl. So I'll lie. Trick her into thinking I'm going to do this so I can get what I want, glow up, and maintain having all the power. Et voila. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know if you want other... I have so much more to say about Love is Blind. These are very time and labor-intensive videos to make, though. So I don't hear many people commenting about it, then I'm not sure if I'm going to do it anymore. But anyway, please follow my Patreon. Like, comment, share, all this stuff. And thanks for watching. Welcome to the comment song. Please fork and vote edition. Even if you don't like the candidates, please God, vote. The whole world is watching this election and they're really nervous. Please God, vote, vote, vote. Please don't let this psychopath ruin the world even more. Please vote. This is what he's gonna do. Please vote. I know. It's not perfect, but it's all we got. Please just unenthusiastically vote, please. Praise God. Et voila!